Hey guys, back, and we are not playing Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I'm gonna be pretty straightforward with this one. There's no gameplay planned for today as far as Advanced Warfare and all. So if you clicked on the stream expecting gameplay, or in the archives, there isn't gonna be any. There's I don't even think I'd be able to get into a match, honestly, and I don't really want to try to get into a game. What I want to do is just kind of reminisce a little bit about Advanced Warfare and my time with it. This is honestly more something for myself than for anybody else. Uh, I played the hell out of Advanced Warfare back in the day, and pretty proud of the time I put into the game and all that. It had a lot of problems as far as connections go and all on my end, but I powered through it through the year and ended up what's it called? I ended up playing a hell of a lot out of it. So just kind of going through my stats, I guess, checking out my Armory collection, and then just calling it a day, I guess, is the plan. Main reason I wanted to do, I mean, in the ideal scenario, I would actually like to play some Advanced Warfare, actually have some gameplay to showcase now. But I live in India. The player population on these old games are very low. So, like, I don't even think I'd get into a game if I tried, or even if I did, it'd probably be a bad experience. Usually, during these reminiscing streams, it's usually a game that's come as a free game into like either the PlayStation Plus thing, right? So they add one of the old CoD games as a free game, right, for the month, and then that sort of boosts up the player count for a few days or to a week, right? So it is actually more viable to jump in and reminisce while playing the game. I don't see that happening with Advanced Warfare, at least not on the PlayStation side, I don't think. It might actually come to Xbox's Game Pass at some point in time, and that might revitalize the player base a little bit for a short while, I presume, if that does happen. But the bulk of my grind on Advanced Warfare was on the PlayStation. So my entire collection and combat record and the Armory stuff that I've collected, right, is all going to be linked to the PlayStation version of the game. Obviously, back in Advanced Warfare days, there was no cross-play options and cross-progression options and stuff like that. So even if I was to jump in and reminisce on the Xbox, if that ever became a possibility, it wouldn't be able to showcase like what I did in the game. I probably wouldn't even have my loadouts and stuff like that. So yeah, it's something I've wanted to do, just jump into Advanced Warfare and go through my collection on a stream. Again, more for documentation for myself in case ever like I don't have access to this content at some point in the future. You never know with the digital content, right? How those things work. So yeah, this is maybe more for myself than anybody else. But yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of delving into Advanced Warfare and my stint into it, let's say. So let's just start off with the like home screen itself. This was my character. Like I've always been more interested in like a milsim look. So I actually genuinely rock this look for the bulk of the year. Obviously, like the way Advanced Warfare worked was there was the supply loot system, and as you earn supply boxes or potentially have bought them, you'd open them and earn, like you could unpack different kind of like cosmetics, whether it be like a t-shirt or a variation on the exosuit, variation on your weapons, even pants, shoes, all sorts of nonsense, right? So the character that I had definitely evolved over the year of playtime, but this was the basic look that I used to like to go for. And then if I found an item that I felt fit my look nicely, I would swap it out for whatever. But yeah, this is what it ended up looking like. This is what my boy looked like when I played Advanced Warfare. Also, you can see my loadout. This was my go-to loadout. I know the other reason, like I've been sort of thinking about this, is because the Bal 27 or whatever assault rifles coming to the game, and for the bulk of everyone, that was the popular weapon. But I always kind of drifted to other weaponry than what might have been the norms. So yeah, my go-to gun was the AK-12. That was just my go-to gun for the bulk of the grind and stuff like that. I used to run the MK-14 because as like an overkill class. Because I don't know, man, that was more just a nostalgia weapon that I used to like to run. It wasn't actually particularly a good weapon, honestly. Uh, like I used to play with the FAL way back in like either Modern Warfare 2 or 3. I'm not sure which one had the like OP FAL. But like having a semi-automatic weapon was very enjoyable during those days. So when I played Advanced Warfare, it was just more of a nostalgia weapon that I used to keep on my class. And I just sat on it throughout the whole year. I can never bothered like swapping it. But in all honesty, the bulk of the grind was the AK-12, and then occasionally I'll pull out the MK-14, like, but not really. Like I said, it wasn't particularly the ideal loadout. Um, so I think let's just go in order of this nonsense so we can like reminisce as the order of things. So let's just go through my classes first. And I don't actually remember my classes at all properly. But I do remember like using the AK, and then now that I loaded it in, now I remember it being the AK-12, right? So this was the gun I used. There's so many variants for the AK-12 too, like, and I'm pretty sure I have all of them. I think. I honestly don't know what half of these variants. I'm pretty sure the main reason I used this was because it had that extra damage. But man, it looks like it's taking a chunk out of the fire rate. So I did also have the elite versions of these weapons, but because it didn't have the extra damage, I didn't really use them. This looks like a really good version of the gun. Honestly, I was a bit of an idiot when it came to like Advanced Warfare, like weaponry. What's up, Caleb? Yeah, the campaign was really good too. I did complete the campaign on this game. It was interesting, and some of the characters maybe might not have aged so well. But yeah. I guess these were the attachments I used on it. I don't remember using this optic, man. This threat detection thing, I don't remember it at all. I normally just thought it was a red dot. This looks like some kind of infrared something or the other, but I don't remember what it did. Then obviously suppressor was important back in the day, and then quick draw was something. See, this optic is the one thing that's kind of like blown me away, because I don't remember the target enhancer, what on earth I was using that for. And then for the now, I think what the system in this was is you had you had 13. Okay, so this was sort of like a advanced pick 10 system. It looks like it was a pick 13 system. So you could pick 13 of anything you wanted, but then you kind of were locked out of anything else. So you could do 13, you could have like 4 streaks even, right? Or like go heavy 6 perks if you wanted to go nuts with it. And like, so I guess I had this optic as just the attachment for the hard tip. And where's that audio coming from? Oh, is it coming from my controller? Holy shit. It is. Oh my god. Controller has audio. It's a primary gun, take a third primary attachment. Okay. So this allowed me to have 3 attachments on my primary weapon. And then the overkill, obviously, to allow me to have, like, honestly, I'm telling you, this is such a, like, fucking nostalgia reason to, like, run the MK14. Like, I hardly used it, and it was probably such a wasted, like, 3 attachment slot. Like, it was so stupid of me, but I just did it anyway. The other thing that was pretty cool about the score streaks and stuff like that was you could actually, like, modify them. So you could kind of like create the streak, right? And then depending on how you wanted to modify it, it added a little more extra score that you required to like earn it, right? So if you wanted to go like super hard with your UAV and just have all sorts of different things that were tied to it, you could, but that would increase the value of the streak. So it would be harder to get. Dude, is there some way to turn off the audio on my fucking controller, really? It is so loud. Yeah. I mean, I've always been the type of person who didn't like to control streaks. Like, I just didn't like to have, like, anything that I had to physically control. So it was always something that I could put up and forget, you know? And I was always, like, a support player. I always loved having a UAV or some counter UAV and something. And then, like, something like a Harrier or something like that, right? Where I can just throw it up in the air and it gets me killed, hopefully. And that'd be that. What is this? Low profile. Okay, so this would be the Ghost equivalent. And then cold-blooded. So flinch less when shot. Dude, this is another stupid, like, I feel like this is such a stupid, like, perk, wasted perk. Like, how much was I flinching with the AK-12? And on top of that, I used to play, like, a ton of, like, hardcore. Like, I started off in core mode, and then I switched over to hardcore. So this would have actually, like, I was an actual idiot when it came to my loadouts. Like, the thing is, with me back then is, like, I don't think I put too much effort or time into, like, researching anything. I just stuck with what worked. And that was that, right? I was like, yeah, that works. It's fine. Okay, so this would be my low, like, what's surprising, my low profile, okay, so the other thing that you need to remember is when you had your loadouts in the old CoDs, you couldn't swap them on the fly, right? So you needed to have, like, your main loadout, and then you would need to have, like, your ghost loadout or cold-blooded loadout in case, like, streaks are heavy or, like, UAVs are heavy. So you needed multiple loadouts with the exact same, like, weaponry, but maybe different perk setups and stuff like that, because you couldn't change those on the fly in the match, right? You just needed to have the, like, loadout ready in case you needed to swap to it. Otherwise, you'd be in trouble. So this one looks like I had perk greed on it, so this would allow me more perks. Why would I be missing one slot on this one? Why did I go 12 and not 13? Where? Oh, that. But then still, I should be able to put on a second UAV, wouldn't I? Dude, man, I really don't remember a lot of this stuff. Why some of the things I did. What is this one? Why is this important, man? What are these loadouts, man? Like, honestly, when I used to do low profile, what normally would be the, like, normally in my head, what I would do is I would have, like, maybe something's been removed from this loadout. Oh, I think I know what's going on. This would have been my A and E. AE4, like, I would have had this weapon. I would have had this weapon because I did start using, so that was a downloaded, that's the laser weapon. The one, like the EM4 and stuff from, like, Vanguard and all, like, and it was just basically the laser. I'm guessing because it doesn't recognize that I had the DLC for it. It's not loading it in, but that definitely was probably the weapon I was using in it. Yeah, I just want to see if I can change the controller audio. 1 minute. This audio is kind of irritating me. Control the speaker. Thank you. Okay, so now it's making sense. I would have had the 13 slot, but it would have been this weapon, the AE4. This was basically the first DLC weapon that you got, and it was, I think it was like from the, like if you bought the premium DLC copy of the game, like I forget what they called it, but there was the base version, and then there was the like version where you get all the DLC, like the new maps and everything, right? So that was the first DLC like item from that package. Because I did buy the like premium edition of this game, so not only did I get the base version, but I got like all the DLC, which was a mistake. That was actually a big mistake. But yeah, that was like after a while, that was a very good gun. So I'm pretty sure that was what I was using there. Okay, yeah. See, this is the AE4 like build. So this would be like all these perks and all that. But the AE4 would have replaced the MK14. And I did use the AE4 a chunky amount when using that. Like, I didn't like it at first, but it was a pretty good weapon. It's actually a pretty good weapon. The system hack, this one was a beast. This was such a beast score streak. Like, way back, man, this was so good. And it was actually very easy to earn. And then I think maybe 3/4 of the game's life, they kind of made it like a higher score, a higher score requirement. And then it kind of like fell out of my like loadout. But this was a go-to like, this was like the go-to like score streak that I always ran. Because, man, you could just disable everyone. And it was very easy to earn. Very, very easy. So I had this equipped to it. What does this do? Oh, I get assist points for it. Okay. So I could earn my other streaks quicker. There's a gal. But yeah, I think this was like a 500 score streak and then 550 with the like assist point thing, I presume. It was really easy to earn. Or maybe it was like a 600 streak. I don't know. And then they like nerfed it and like increased the score value to it, which is kind of unfortunate. What was this one? What was I using on this? Oh, yeah, okay. See, this is what I mean. I hated, like, player control stuff. So even my, like, this warbird that I used, like, the modifiers just so it, like, AI controls it. So I don't need to control it. Just let it do its thing. I was like, yeah, I don't want to control that nonsense. Okay, this one was, again, extra points. So, like, it would allow me to get my other streaks faster. So just by getting this, putting in that extra like grind for the UAV would get me my other streaks a little quicker as long as it like teammates were doing that thing. What was the? So this is the camo grind in the game, huh? Looks like the first one is just 10 long shots, 20, 40. 60, 80. I mean, they used to actually have shitty long shot challenges back then too, really? Fuck, I don't remember. Headshots. 80, up to 80 headshot challenge. Strafe medals. Bloodthirsties. Okay. So you'd use your exosuit for this one. Utilize your exosuit to dodge and then get a quick kill. What was this? Yeah, I never went for the camo grind on this. I obviously didn't go for the camo grind on these weapons. But this one, I needed to like remove my perks. This looks like a cool camo too. I should have gone. Anyway, I didn't go for camo grind back then. 200 kills with this weapon, no attachments equipped. Complete all challenges for the weapon is the diamond. Oh, the royalty is just to complete the assault rifles. So what was carbon fiber? Like, wasn't that a challenge? How did I complete this if I didn't have carbon fiber completed? What was this one? These must have just been like, I don't even know what these are. These must have been purchasable. I never bought anything in the store. I had the premium version of the game, but I never bought anything in the store. Yeah, so obviously back in the day, I didn't do the camo grinds for weapons. I just didn't do it. I only started doing the camo grind since like World War II. Like the Call of Duty World War II Sledgehammer game also. I started the camo grind back then, and I've done it since then. But prior to that, I used to not really go for I think I used to go for like the main weapon that I used, right? But like I didn't experiment with other weapons in this game. Like it was just like the main weapon I used, and I used that for the whole year. And eventually, like I said, bulk of it, I went for the MK14 as a secondary. But then eventually I kind of like drifted to the AE4 because it was a pretty good gun too. Especially in hardcore, I think that was a really good gun in hardcore, the AE4. Goliath streak, I guess. I don't think I'd ever equip this garbage. What did I have? Oh, a trophy system. That's so trolly, dude. You get the Goliath system and you just throw in a trophy system on it so people can't like shoot you out of it quickly. You know, they can't use their rocket nonsense. You can have a built-in trophy system on the Goliath. Can you imagine having a built-in trophy system to like a Harrier or like a chopper gunner or something like that, right? Well, I think it sort of does have a single trophy system, right? Some of them. Like, I think the gunship and all has like a single, like it'll divert one of the like lock-on missiles. Or at least in the previous games it did. I don't use those things. I remember actually one time I earned the Goliath suit. No, I didn't earn the Goliath suit. There was one time a friend of mine, not really like a friend, a gaming friend of mine. Like I used to play some with him, right? He earned the Goliath suit, right? And he called it in. And everyone died around where he called it in, except me. Okay? So I stood there and waited. Okay? And I see all of them spawning on the opposite end of the map. Right? So I'm like, fuck, man. I'm going to either have to protect this Goliath suit so like my friend can come back and use it, or I can jump in it and it not get stolen because there's going to be a rush. Because there was a bunch of enemies close by. I knew they were coming in. And if teammates were spawning on the opposite end of the map, that means enemies were going to be spawning closer to me, right? It's just the way the game used to work back then. So I jumped into the Goliath suit because I was like, dude, there's no way I'm going to be able to protect it. There's zero chance I'm going to be able to protect it long enough for my friend to get back here and like use his earned streak, right? The dude got so mad at me, man. He actually unfriended me. He's like, I can't believe you used my Goliath friend. I'm like, dude, you were spawning on the opposite end, man. What do you want me to do? But yeah, like I said, he was a gaming buddy. I didn't really know him. But he got super upset. But in my head, my logic was like, dude, this guy's spawning on the opposite end of the map. There is no chance he's coming back to get this in time. We're going to lose it. And if I don't jump into it, an enemy will, right? But I guess in his head, like, I stole it off him. I don't remember the AK-47 in this game. I know I used the AK, and since like the bulk of my loadouts have the AK-12, I'm presuming that's what I used. But clearly there was an AK-47. We should actually go through all the weapons, man. I don't remember all of them. But yeah. Okay, so I did have a red dot class. Okay, this makes more sense. I'd actually wager this might be my more go-to class. Because this looks like my old school class. This does look like my old school class because, again, like I said, I barely used the MK14. So there was no reason to have that. And the hack system was really a popular streak of mine. I loved it until they nerfed like the values. And even after they nerfed the values, I think I still kept it as my setup. So I think this might be more likely my real setup. They have like they just added this optic, and the aftermarket parts looks like this. Like a lot of people use it because it's got that like recoil reduction benefit. And this looks more likely what I'd probably utilize the bulk of my setup. This is more likely what I'd use, is my guess. I don't remember playing Search and Destroy. This would have been my hardcore Search and Destroy setup. I don't remember playing this that much. What is this? Team Tactician. Take an EXO ability in your EXO launcher slot. Cloak and EXO mute. Dude, I don't remember what these were, man. Silence your footsteps. Okay, so this is Ninja. Yeah, at least I had the brains to use Ninja in this game for S&D. What is this, like an active camo? Man, I don't remember. Jeez, this seems OP, dude. An active camo? Then this would have been my regular Search and Destroy setup. Okay. Again, I don't think I played Search and Destroy that much. I don't even know how I have a class dedicated to it, truthfully. But I guess, like I said, you can't change your loadouts on the fly. So if I had like a friend that wanted to play this or something and just randomly got into it, I'd have just like had the class ready, I guess. Domination. This would have been my Dom class. Dude, I don't even remember this weapon. This looks like the Vector, right? I don't remember it. I don't think I used it even. The remote turret, man. You could set it up so you could fire rockets. It's so trolly, dude. It's fucking ridiculous, dude. You can set up these remote turrets, like the sentry gun, but it would shoot rockets instead of like bullets. It's so trolly, dude. Having this system was brilliant, dude, actually. It was genuinely brilliant, but it was also like, I guess, more complicated than need be. Can you imagine dropping a sentry turret and it's just shooting rockets at enemies, dude? Fucking hell, it's so OP. What is this? Why do I have this? What is this? Oh, this is the same, that AI control graph. Oh, so this one was just AI controlled and it would like roam the map. This one would be AI controlled, but it would follow you around and protect you. Yeah, that's cool. See, this is the things, man. These are the things that are so like cool and interesting about this game that you wouldn't even think of. So again, you don't need to control this, but while you're running around, it's just hovering around and following you around the map. I guess it would give away your position, but because it's a warbird, dude, like people will still be fearful of you. And back then, like I said, if you didn't have a cold-blooded class set up already, you're gonna die to that streak all the time. That's why you needed to have the class already built into your setup to make sure you were getting it. Again, I don't know why I had this, man. Usually my low profile would be cold-blooded. And then my normal loadout wouldn't have cold-blooded. But yet all of my like profiles have like Ghost and cold-blooded in it. I always ran Ghost. Ghost was always like a kind of like crutch for me. Like I don't like having to deal with people seeing me on the UAV. So I always ran that. Hardwires obviously reduced the... Oh, okay. So basically what I was doing with the low profile was no matter what streak they called in, this would counter it. Cold-blooded... Oh... Now it makes sense. Okay, so in this game, cold-blooded wasn't the counter to the streaks. It was the counter to like the the what's it called, heat sensors and all, like the night vision stuff, that the thermal optics basically, these target sensitive optics. So this counted these optics, and Ghost counted the UAV, and then this counted a certain set of streaks, like the drones, some of the streaks, but not all of them. And then this counted the other streaks. So you basically needed two different perks to counter every single streak in the game, is what it looks like. And then this counted like the heat, the thermal, and the target enhancer and stuff like that. So like you wouldn't get highlighted by these things. And then low profile counted UAVs and I guess exo ping or whatever the hell it is, things that would ping you on the mini map. Jeez, man. So basically this was actually the correct low profile class. This makes sense. I was confusing Cold-Blooded with the current Cold-Blooded, which just counters like the streaks and all. But no. Cold-Blooded in this game was just the counter to like the heat vision and stuff like that, like the thermal stuff. Okay. That makes sense. So yeah, these were the loadouts that I used. I didn't have the bonus loadout stuff, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, so that was my create a class for Advanced Warfare. Supply drop challenge. So I guess you could earn a daily supply drop. Okay, I guess customization. I always ran this outfit. This was my outfit, dude. Can we do a full preview? No. This was my go-to outfit. I like the Milsim look. But like everything was customizable in this game, dude. Like the boots, exosuit, pants, shirt, gloves, helmet. So each item had an attachment. Sledgehammer Elite. Where did I get this crap from? I don't know. The Marine helmet. We'll go through my whole like Armory thing afterwards, but we're just going through this. The setup. Nigerian support loadout elite. This looks like something I'd have like unlocked later on. I would have been like slowly swapping things out to fit my setup. Atlas contractor professional gloves. That's the shit you get in this game, dude. Conquistador. God dang, dude. That's some cool stuff. Look at my kicks, man. There's some good kicks here, huh? Atlas Tier 1 boots. I ended up using the KVA Recon boots. And then the Sentinel Intel Exosuit Elite. Yeah, so this was my setup. This was my go-to setup. I don't know what these are. Yeah, these are, like, clearly I haven't even, like, customized these. There's no way I bothered customizing any of these. This was the only one I had and used. Player card. I don't even know if I ever, like, played with this. I honestly don't know. Is that all? 24 calling cards and that's it? God, they really monetize the shit out of calling cards after this, huh? No, wait. Okay. There's a lot more. That was just the general stuff. Okay. I didn't go for challenges back then. So I don't think I ever unlocked anything. I'm actually even surprised that I like customized my calling card at all. I honestly didn't care about this stuff. I see, this is an act there for sure. I'm max prestiged in this game. I hit the max. Grandmaster. This is probably the only game I like max prestiged. Actually, let's go to the prestige stuff. This is kind of a throwback to the old stuff, man. I think it only went up to 10 first, and then they added more afterwards, or was it more than 10 and then they added more? Or maybe it was 15. Oh, no. Okay. So this would have been the first set of like prestiges, and then they added these ones after the fact. The master prestiges. Which I also did. I ended up master prestiging. I actually hit master prestige like on the last day. It took a long time for me to hit the grandmaster. I didn't have any clans. I don't know what the fuck bonus is. I didn't have a tag. Challenges. Oh, there's all sorts of extra loot that I clearly didn't bother like grinding out. Interesting. Oh, we didn't go through all the weaponry. We should actually go look through all what weapons there were. But yeah, obviously I didn't. Yeah, see, the Val 27, the most popular gun, I didn't use. I wasn't that guy, dude. I wasn't that guy running that nonsense. I mean, these are all the challenges, huh? The camo challenges. Jeez, they did a pretty good job of listing things out and all. And I didn't even realize it. Yeah, see, submachine guns and all, I barely use this shit. I didn't touch it. I was a one-man gun, dude. I stuck to it and sat on it for the whole year. It was only afterwards that I started like grinding out. The blunderbuss is in this, huh? I think they added that as a DLC weapon. Does this have my AE? Yeah, see, I use the AE4 a lot, eventually. STG was in this. I didn't realize. Like, dude, now that I know like some of the guns, because I've been grinding out like camos and all, like seeing some of the names on this game, it's kind of surprising they had these stuff. This was the go-to, huh? Morse. Again, I hardly sniped and stuff like that. Yeah, so these are all going to be blank, but at least you can see the names, I guess, of the weapons. We'll go through the weapons also. Yeah, the shield. How did I use the crossbow? I mean, looks like I used it once. Yeah, see, like I used that overkill class and always had like those two things. Yeah. I honestly didn't do the camera grind on this. It's kind of an interesting, like, dude, I'm actually kind of interested this camera grind existed. I obviously didn't use the abilities on this. Boost dodging. Skeet shooter medals. What is that? Dogfight medals was like when you jumped in the air. Both of you jumped in the air and fought each other. And then The boost slam was fucking so trolly, dude. So what you could do with the movement in this game, yeah, because of your exosuit, you could kind of like jump up in the air and strafe, kind of like move side to side and all. But what you could also do is when you were jumping up in the air, if an enemy was below you, you could slam down, and if you slam down on top of them, you'd kill them. I I got really good at that. Like I started getting pretty good at that. Like at the very end of the game. So clearly, I didn't get enough of them to complete the challenge. But yeah, I started trolling like that at the end of the game, where I would just purposely boost slam someone just because I was fucking wanting to troll them. Like yeah. Oh, that was only tier 3 also. Like it would have gone up to tier 5, I presume. Like the other ones, I presume. But I started trolling people just for the fun of it to boost slam them near the end of the game's life. Because it's just such a trolly thing to do. Operations, boot camp. These are all my challenges, I guess. I didn't realize this game had such a system even in place, honestly. I never bothered looking at this stuff. Or like actively going for it. It's just stuff that got completed because I guess I did it. I don't remember playing Search and Destroy, man. I really don't. God, they do have some challenges, man, in this game. Like this would have been like the 100%er back in the day. Completing all of this stuff, which I clearly didn't bother doing. I mean, the reason I used to not bother with this stuff, like in these like games, was in the original CODs, when you prestiged, you reset everything, including your challenges, right? So they had similar challenges like this throughout all of COD, right? But in the original like prestige systems, whenever you prestiged, everything got reset, including all these challenges, everything. So if you either went for your 100%er like challenges and didn't go for prestiging, or you went for prestiging and you didn't go for your 100%er challenges, because you couldn't do both. Because every time you prestiged, you reset everything. It's looking like this game maybe went out of that set. Like because this looks like there's challenges I would have not been able to complete because, I mean, I don't know. It looks like some of these were like tracking throughout the whole career. So maybe by Advanced Warfare, they changed that system where like even if you prestiged, your 100%er challenges still could be completed without it resetting. That sounds more likely, the scenario, right? All right, here's the combat record. This is what I guess. So yeah, this is my combat record for Advanced Warfare. 31 days, 21 hours, 22 minutes playtime. 64,000 kills, a 1.3 KD. My win-loss is also pretty decent, man. I started playing a lot of hardcore, like I said, right? So, yeah. I guess this is the base stats. Game modes. I played a ton of TDM mainly, looks like. Again, I really don't remember playing Search and Destroy as much as I did. I clearly did, but I don't remember it. The other modes are like just nothing, right? How the fuck do I play so much Search and Destroy and not remember it one bit, dude? How is that possible? I remember TDM and like, I guess Domination and stuff like that. TDM for sure. Weapons, AK-12 is the bulk of all my kills. Like I said, utilize the MK-14 on occasion, but not really. And then switched up to the AE-4. It looks like I used it just as little as the MK-14. Yeah, this is the OP gun. Hardly touched it. Hardly touched it. I was a one-gun guy. I liked my AK-12 and I was sticking to it. I don't even. How's my accuracy so bad too, man? Fucking 12%? Are you kidding me? I'm presuming that's got to do with hardcore, right? That's how I like. You don't stop shooting. Like you'll just keep blasting even if you get kills and stuff like. Also, I'll tell you, the bulk of the. I'll talk about it at the end, but I used to basically play red bar. The connection was so bad in this game for me. Simtex, I like Simtex is my go-to always, dude. I just like the fact that I can stick someone with it and like it's done. You don't need to time. You don't need to like place anything. Just get them stuck or get it close enough and it'll stick to where you were trying to throw it. Score streaks, UAVs, obviously. System hack, like I said, right? This was so easy to earn and it was so like, it was actually a very powerful like score streak. Otherwise, I didn't really use the other stuff. And then these are the medals that I got. What's a Fury kill? 4? Is that all I got? Max 4. Got some relentless, one relentless, some ruthless, 20 streak. Looks like I never got the 25. Streaks. Anti-score streak. This would be like the hack stuff. No soup for you. What is that? I remember this one, but I don't remember what was the requirement for this one. I remember like being amused by this medal. Game modes, obviously I only played very limited game modes. Like again, this game was pre like, you know, the catered playlist. So you queued into either TDM or domination, one of the modes, and that's what you searched under. You couldn't like select TDM, domination, kill confirmed, and then find me a game there, right? Wasn't like that. I never played rank mode, so that was nothing. I actually thought they deleted the leaderboards, but they haven't. So they do still have my leaderboards on this game. Although like now I'm quite far down the leaderboard, I guess. And then I think I can. Oh no, this is okay. This is the. Okay, so this is just all-time score really. It was just score. It was the amount of score you earned, time played, honestly. And clearly other people have way more score than me and half the time. How's that even possible? I was rubbish, man. Again, I played TDM, like hardcore. So I think the TDM and hardcore would have kind of, like, there's probably faster score modes if you wanted to go that way. So I played the standard mode, okay? I played the standard mode for like the first half of the game's life, or maybe like the first few months of the game's life, and then I switched up to hardcore. So when I was playing the standard mode, I was actually very high up, but then I completely stopped playing the standard mode, and I switched up to hardcore. And I was very high up on hardcore. Like this is, I don't know how many, like what is it, like been over a decade or something now, and I'm still like top 1,500 on it. But again, it's more time played as opposed to like actual skill, the leaderboard, right? So if you played a lot, you are high up on the leaderboard, which I obviously played a lot. Like I think I must have been in the top 800 before the thing. I wonder, 1 minute. He's not there anymore on the top. Okay, this guy. Okay, I think this Magic Vagia, I think it was him, right? I used to go up against him and he used to hate me. I think he was an Australian player. He was like the top one player back in the day, man. Oh, he was like one of the top one players. I think that was him, dude. I think. I could be wrong though, man. It's been so long. But yeah, I used to go up against like the top player at TDM all the time, and he used to hate me, man, because again, it was my connection was really bad, dude. Like I just had a like it wasn't my fault, man. Like I do. Yeah, I obviously didn't play free for all or anything like that, so I don't have that. Go. Yeah, I didn't play this stuff. This stuff, the other ranks is not of value. There's this one that had like because I switched to hardcore and that was what I like played the most by the end of it. But like I said, I was actually like very high on the standard leaderboard also, but then I stopped playing it like halfway through the like first half of the like game's life, and then I dropped a lot. But initially, when I was playing the game, I was very high up on the leaderboard, also on the standard TDM. It was more like I stopped playing it because it was hard to get into games. The connections just were not like it was just not possible. I'll talk about it at the end, like during the outro. But yeah, it had more to do with connection problems and stuff like that. All right. Yeah, that's everything in the operator. So now let's go into the armory. This is another thing I was particularly like proud of. Now I did not buy a single supply drop. It was all just me grinding the game and earning my supply drops and stuff like that. So we're not going to go through all loot first. We'll go through go from permanent, timed, and then redeemable. The redeemable was the supply drop stuff. Permanent stuff, I guess, was the stuff that you earned. What is this lullaby? I don't know what and how I got some of this stuff, man. Oh, this was the EM1. Then what was the AE4? Have I always just mixed up the EM1 for the AE4? Because the AE4 was the better gun, I'm pretty sure. EM1 was the one that they brought into like Vanguard, right? Was that the better like laser gun? I have no clue, man. The Ball 27 is what's coming to the game. I did have the AE4. Like I said, I probably need to download like the DLC shit, which would be stupid because then 100% like it'd be a waste. But I guess this was all stuff that you earned via playing challenges and playing the campaign. I presume some of this stuff was the campaign. This was the prestige stuff. So when you grandmastered, each prestige you grandmastered, you'd get like a new element to your, what's it called? Customization, like operator customization. So this was like the grandmaster stuff. The helmet. Like this would have been campaign, I presume, right? There's the chest for the grandmaster. The shin guards. And gloves. Oh, those are cool boots, man. And then the exosuit is this one. But yeah, this was like, I guess, rewards you earn via challenges, right? And levels and stuff like campaign completion and all that. Okay, so this set of stuff you earned if you did certain challenges in the game, okay? And if you could do those certain challenges, you get these items as like player customization for limited time. So only like you could use it for like this one was only 30 minutes of in-game time, right? Whereas this one you had like for looks like a couple of hours or whatever, right? So my very last game I actually completely destroyed in the very last game of my time in Advanced Warfare. So what these are is I think 5, 10, and 15 streak. These are the like if you went on like a 15, like a ruthless, a relentless or whatever, I don't know, whatever, right? You got like the helmet, then the shin guards and the gloves as limited time use for your operator. And these were, I think, like if you did the dogfight challenge medals, if you earn those dogfight medals, you could get the Red Baron cap and the Red Baron goggles. You needed to like earn a certain amount. So yeah, I actually like pulled off a pretty nice streak, and I also did like some solid like exo movements and earned these as my last rewards. And again, you could earn this throughout the game. Like every game you played, if you did well, you'd earn these things, right? And you'd get like it to use it for limited time. But this was like literally my last games that I managed to pull off earning all this crap. And then I stopped playing the game altogether because it was time to move on to the next one. But yeah, it just pulled off like a nasty little streak on my thing. So that's what these kind of limited time loot was. Like if you pulled off certain challenges, like time, you'd get these time limited loots that you could use for customization. All right, this is the big thing. This was the supply loot system collection that I have. Now, I didn't do any research and stuff like that for the weaponry, for the collection when I was collecting it. One thing I would do is any variant for the main weapon that I like, the AK-12, I kept. Duplicates are obviously like destroyed or like so whatever. You got like credit back for it or some nonsense. I don't know how they did it, right? But it would basically take inventory slots, and you had limited inventory. So you didn't want to fill up your inventory, otherwise you didn't have space, right? It would auto like I don't know what it would do. But there was limited inventory, so you couldn't keep everything. So for the gun I liked, I kept all the various variants, no matter what the rarity was. Everything else, I only kept the high rarity stuff. So yeah, we'll go through them, I guess. This is the Ball 27. I know everyone loved this, but so a lot of people are saying this might this particular, the Obsidian Steel, was extremely sought after for the Ball 27. So people are thinking that maybe a blueprint for this will come in the game once they release it. I wonder if you can like preview this. I don't wanna equip it. Is there a preview button or something? I don't know. But the Inferno was also like a high rarity Ball 27. Okay. So yeah, like I said, I didn't use those guns. But my collection was brilliant, dude. It was actually brilliant. So the meme about the Moors is like Jev always wanted the low rarity Moors because it was really hard to get, right? I didn't know the low rarity one was actually valuable. So I'm pretty sure I might have gotten it, but I didn't keep it because I don't use the Moors. So I only kept the high rarity stuff, right? The weapons that I didn't use. Like I honestly don't know why I kept these ones and all. Okay, I know why. I know why. Okay, so anything that had a damage buff, I would keep. So if it gave you an extra damage, I would keep it. So even if it was a low rarity item, but it had the damage buff, I would keep it. Otherwise, it's just the high rarity stuff that I kept. Whereas with the Moore's one, you wanted the quick bolt, is what the one that he was like talking about. So I don't actually have the quick bolt in my collection because it didn't have a damage buff and it was a low rarity. So I would have gotten rid of it because I didn't use the weapon. But yeah, as you can see, I've got like some super high rarity weapons. Yeah, so this one's a low rarity one, but it had the damage buff, so I kept it. That's how like my mentality worked. Because I was an AR player, man. It was all about damage buffs and all, not quick bolt and all like faster reload or anything. So I always saw value in that. This one gave you an optic. That's nuts how some of the stuff they did, man. I'm actually surprised you can't do like a preview of this or something, man. Like closer inspection of it. Even this one gives you an optic. These are supply drop like things too, man. They had like so many stat variants and stuff like that. Like all of these weapons are like statistically different. Yeah, now I remember why I kept some of the low rarity stuff. It just had to do with if the weapon, like the blueprint, gave you a damage buff. If it didn't give you a damage buff, I didn't keep it, the low rare stuff. But yeah, I don't know if some of you are nostalgic for some of these weapons and all. But this is why I wanted to do this stream. Even though I'm not playing any games and all, my collection on this. And again, I didn't buy supply drops. This was just me grinding out the game and earning the supply drops, and this is what I got, dude. This is the collection I have. I don't think I have everything. There's definitely stuff that I'm missing from my collection. Like I said, I didn't buy supply drops, so it was just what I unlocked, and I kept the ones that... Now again, MK14 was the weapon that I used heavily, so I kept all the variants that I unlocked for it, except the duplicates, right? I didn't keep the dupes. So even though this is a low rarity stuff without like damage buff, I kept it because there's a variant. Even launcher variants, geez. Okay. That's cool though. The Firehawk. Dude, why don't they bring some of these blueprints back into the game? This would be an excellent RGL blueprint. I mean, I know these are like probably low res blueprints, but you know, remake them or something, right? Why not? Yeah, I'm just going through them because in case someone else has like a preferred weapon, maybe they'll see a variant that they wanted to see or something, right? This is like the what's it called? PPSH. Yeah, I was a legitimate grinder in this game. I don't understand. Honestly, some of these like blueprints are pretty cool, man. Like don't they have the rights to these designs? Can't they just use them again? Like, it always blows my mind. They're constantly like trying to look for inspiration for new like designs and stuff like that for their blueprints and all. And I guess they don't want to repeat themselves sometimes. But there's no harm in bringing some of these old stuff back. Especially something like a game this old, to remake the like blueprint in something more like current day. That is a lot of effort. Like, I wouldn't argue like, oh, they're just copy and pasting old stuff. There's no way they copy and paste these kind of designs back. You need to rework them completely. So it would make sense, that they bring these like blueprints back and then maybe sell them and all. Whereas as opposed to like when you're bringing back a blueprint from 2019 and just kind of reworking it into like Modern Warfare 2, which they did, that's a little more egregious because like, you're just copy and pasting that from one game to the other and then kind of slightly reworking it. Whereas here it's like, you got some basic design here and then you'll have to kind of do a whole load of effort to bring it into the next game, right? What is this weapon? It's like a shotgun or something. That's a cool looking shotgun. Yeah, I mean, a lot of my collection, I probably didn't even bother looking at. It was just like, I saw the rarity, I kept it. Like, that's it. And because like I said, I didn't actually like use other weapons other than the ones that I had in my loadout. Like, I didn't experiment. So none of this actually mattered to me in reality. It's just nice that I had them in my collection, I guess, right? But yeah, like I said, I think it wasn't well researched, my collection. It was just like rarity or damage buff. That's it. And that's how I kept them. If I had researched it, I would have definitely kept the super rare stuff that were maybe on the thing. Like I said, the quick bolt for the Moors. If I knew that was like a super rare or valuable blueprint, I would have definitely kept it. I'm almost certain I got it. I'm certain I got the quick bolt. But I probably just deleted it or some shit. Or maybe I didn't. I have fucking no clue, man. I got a lot of crap that I deleted from the collection because it was just low rarity. Or dupes and stuff like that. Look at this Riot Shield, like elite variants. You hardly see a good Riot Shield blueprint anymore. And again, I used the AE4, so this would have been like, I would have kept all the items, but it's just not showing it properly because I need to download the DLC, I guess, to showcase it. But yeah, it looks like I had all the variants, or the bulk of them. Gigawatt. The weird thing about these blueprints here, like it's so weird. Some of these look so cool. Like these like ultra rare ones or whatever, the like brown ones. The design looks so cool to it. But you wouldn't use it because it didn't have the right stats. It's like, yeah, this doesn't have the right stats. Like I'm pretty sure this one was the better one just because it gave out more damage. Although this one gives more damage, but it's got a lot of cons, right? So I think I used the Supernova over it just because it had less cons but gave the same amount of damage. I don't know what the hell this is, man. Looks like I had a full set of collection on this. What is this, man? I don't remember this weapon. Handguns. Why do I have two showdowns? Oh, they're two different variant showdowns. Jeez. Okay. Oh, one's a showdown and one's sundown. Oh, fuck. What the fuck is this shit? I was like, dude, why are they the same crap? Why would I keep the same nonsense? I'm sure I deleted some, like, not realized, and also, like, they're different, and I was like, just misread it or some shit. I'm like, yeah, I'm deleting this crap. All right, these ones I believe were like prestige levels. So each prestige level you got like a royalty version of the weapon. So these are like I think prestige level based. I want to do a close up preview on some of them, but I don't think I can, man. Unless I equip it or some shit. Yeah, like I said, I max prestige in this game, so I got all of them. Blunderbuss. I think I just kept this one, the full blunderbuss collection, because it was a cool weapon. I didn't really use it though. Oh, I don't have like an ultra rare of it though. Huh? Yeah, like I said, I don't have every collection. Again, damage buff. I'm pretty sure the like the low rarity one was better than the high rarity stuff. Because the high rarity stuff like reduced your damage, so you end up wanting to use the low rarity one. I guess in hindsight, the quick bolt from like the Moors makes sense because it gave you benefits and less cons. Whereas the high rarity stuff usually gives you a lot of benefits, but also a lot of cons, right? Okay, so the clothes, I don't know if I'm going to go through slowly, but I've got a shitload of clothes also. Let's go through it though, man. Fuck it. Again, I deleted a lot of the clothes and stuff, man. I got a lot of dupes and clothing sets and all, right? So I ended up deleting a lot of that stuff when making my collection. But yeah, this is how they like padded out the supply drop system. This is what ended up making the supply drop system so egregious. You'd get like a shitload of these fucking knee pads, like you wanted any of this garbage, right? Or gloves. Everyone wanted just the like rarity weapons, and you'd end up getting all this like fucking marine boots like 20 times or something. It's like, what the fuck is this shit, dude? Because none of this gave you any statistical benefits, right? They were just cosmetic. I don't know what these are, man. Fuck. I remember this one though, because I used it. Looks like I did have some free slots though, but it would probably been like because I deleted the dupes before like I closed the game down. So yeah, that was my armory. That was the thing that I was so proud of. The reason I wanted to do the stream, to reminisce on all this stuff, even though I can't play the game anymore. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool, man. That I don't know, man. I'm the one thing that I'm like super happy about is they kept the leaderboards. For some reason, I thought they deleted the leaderboards. Like I couldn't find it the like last time I like logged in, and I was thinking like I've been thinking about doing this for quite a while, just doing a reminiscing stream. But like when I'm like, man, they deleted the leaderboards and all because, like I said, I was pretty proud of my hardcore or whatever thing. Yeah, I was pretty proud of this hardcore thing. And like I said, my core, like I was actually just as high a rank in the core mode TDM. It was just I stopped playing it because of whatever, right? Combat record. One last peek at all this stuff. I don't know. I guess I'll keep this as like maybe my thumbnail or something, or maybe my leaderboard or something, my combat record. So yeah, a little reminiscent of Advanced Warfare. Like I said, I would like to play the game. I just don't think I'd get into a game, and I don't really want to like struggle to find games and just be upset because it's bad connections and all. Had there been some sort of revitalization of it, then I'd definitely be jumping into playing it. But there hasn't been. So like getting into a game in India would just not be something that's feasible or like likely. Or like I said, if it is, it'd be a bad experience for the most part, which I don't really want to taint my time in this game. Uh, Very much the reason like the last game I played was kind of epic, and I just put it down. I'm like, okay, that was a really good way to end the game, right? I did well on the last match. I earned some cool limited time stuff that I probably normally like. Those were rare items. Those like the bloodthirsty ones and the like red baron stuff. Those weren't something that you like unless you are extremely skilled player. That wasn't something you'd see on the regular as something that you earned, or at least me, not something I earned on the regular. I think one of the bloodthirsties was normal, but getting the 15 streak I think was a little bit on the tougher side. And then the red baron stuff, the dogfight one, that was extremely rare also because not necessarily all the players like played like that, right? So the story behind the Advanced Warfare for me, the reason I've been kind of alluding to, like I grounded out a lot, but it was sort of a weird experience. Was, as I mentioned, I bought the base game, but I also bought the I think it was called the Seasons Pack. The Seasons, like they called it like the Season Pack or something, add-on content, right? The Seasons Pass or some shit like that, right? That's what they called it. So you bought the game, and then there's like an added fee for the Seasons Pass, right? And what the Seasons Pass would be is like you got the full game, and then the Seasons Pass would be all the DLC content that came out for the following year, for the game's life, like the primary year of the like game, right? So all the new maps and stuff like that. And I was in India at the time, okay? So what happened was, and this was the biggest issue with these games. A lot of people like harp on like, oh, can't we go back to the Seasons Pass? There was so much more value to it and blah, blah, blah. But it was actually a really bad system back then. What would happen is people who bought the base game would be able to play with everyone, right? Who owned the base game. The season pass, though, as soon as you got any DLC content, it locked you out of the main game player base. So you could only play with people who had the DLC content, okay? And then what happened was they didn't sell only the seasons pass. Every DLC content drop that they had, like I think they would do like either 3 or 4 DLC content drops, would be split up into separate DLC contents. The season pass included all of those DLC content packs, but it also allowed people to buy them individually, right? So the player base would start off as everyone on the same playing field, everyone has the same content, everyone was playing together, a big community, right? Then the minute any DLC came out, it split the player base into 2 different groups. The people who had the DLC content and the people who didn't. So the people who didn't played with them were the only ones who played with it. And the people who had the DLC content played with only the people who had the DLC content. Which makes sense to a certain extent. It's like obviously the people who don't have the DLC content shouldn't be able to play the DLC content, right? Because they didn't pay for it. But what that meant was it would be 2 separate like playlists completely, right? And usually the player base that didn't have the DLC content was a much larger audience than the people who were paying for the DLC content, because most people didn't buy that extra add-on content, right? So as each season's pack came out, it would get even more and more divided, because there'd be a player base that had no content, a player base that had the first DLC pack, a player base that might have the first and third DLC pack, a player base that might have the first and second DLC pack, a player base that might just have the second. Dude, the amount of divisions you could make of the player base based on the DLC packs was nuts. And unfortunately, in my region, India, almost nobody bought the DLC. No one bought the Seasons Pass. So what happened was very shortly after the game launched, and I was enjoying the game. I was loving it. I was playing core modes, like the regular standard mode, like health and all that. It was perfect, right? They dropped the first DLC weapon, that AE4 assault rifle, like the laser assault rifle, right? And that was the first DLC item, like as kind of a tease to the new DLC pack coming out. But the minute they dropped that player base got split. Who had the content and who didn't have the content. And unfortunately for me, the bulk of the people in my region didn't have the content. So I did not get into games very easily. It basically cut me out of the player pool, the bulk of the player pool that would have been playing this game in my region, simply because I had the DLC, I had paid extra for the season's pass, which was such a fucking mistake, right? So what ended up happening was either I'd get into really bad connections because it was connecting me rarely to people very far away who had the DLC packs, who had paid for it, or I would just simply not get into games. So eventually, because the connections would be so bad, I started playing hardcore because the hardcore mode, even though there's probably even a smaller player base in that, at least I was able to compete a little bit with the bad connections I was getting into. So it was actually a legitimate miserable experience. About halfway through the game's life, I looked it up and I'm like, dude, I'm not getting into games. What's going on? And people on the posts and stuff on the internet, they basically said, look, if you want to get into a game, just delete the DLC packs. Remove it completely from your game. Just download the main game, right? Just keep the main game. But back then I had a really bad internet connection. So deleting the entire game and then just re-downloading the main title would have been a pretty long process. And it would have been kind of burdensome. Plus, I didn't want to I wanted to play the DLC maps I paid for, right? So I just kind of suffered, man. To a certain extent, at a certain point, I would literally just send friend requests. Whenever I got into a lobby, I'd send friend requests to everyone in the lobby. And whoever added me, I would just session join their games if they were playing the game, because that was the only way to get myself into a match, to session join people on my friends list that were already in a match. So some of the people in my friends list would be in Australia or other regions of the world, right? They definitely have people that had the content, the DLC content, right? In those regions, the more popular regions. So by session joining them, I'd be getting this insanely bad ping, but at least I was able to play the game. So yeah, the saddest thing was the DLC drop for that assault rifle happened pretty early on in the game's life. And as soon as that dropped, it cut me off the normal player base completely, making it extremely hard. And then as the DLC packs came out more and more, it became even harder and harder to get into games because a lot of people didn't have that, right? So only a limited people bought the seasons pack. Only a limited people bought a DLC pack, maybe the first season. And then out the following seasons, it got less and less. And that divided the player pool even more and more. And yet somehow, suffering through red bar connection every game, every day, all my life in this, this stupid game's life, I was able to Grandmaster Prestige. Like I said, the reason it was slow and all was because it was very tough for me to get into games. It would take very long, and the games I got into were red bar connections all the time. It was just really bad connections. Occasionally, you'd wonder, but why would you even play that, right? Dude, it's just going to be a bad experience. But I mean, it was playable, and this was the game that I liked, right? And it was playable. It was just a huge headache to get into, and it wasn't particularly a great playable experience, but it was playable. And yeah, that was my story behind Advanced Warfare. The suffering that I sat through and went through just to play the game and eventually Grandmaster Prestige. So the very last game, it was so weird. So what happened was by the end of it, we were moving on to the next game. I can't remember what. I think it was one of the Black Ops games that was coming out, right? So it was the last week of this game's life or something like, and it was very clear. The 1 minute the next game came out, this one was done, right? Especially like a lot of people were pretty excited about the Black Ops game, and I didn't play the Black Ops. I think it was Black Ops 2 or something like that, right? Or was it 3? It was the Advanced Movement Black Ops game, I think. It was one of the Advanced Movement Black Ops games. That was, it would have been 3, I guess, right? Black Ops 3. I don't know, man. What came after Advanced Warfare? But there's suddenly, for some random reason, the last day, there's like a slight boost to the player base in Advanced Warfare. I guess everyone was just jumping on for nostalgia's sake. So that last game that I did pretty well for myself and I was so happy with was actually a pretty damn good connection. And it was like the first good connection I got into after like the entire year of red bar connections the whole time. It was so miserable after that point. And then that very last game was that last beacon of hope of like, oh, I'm in a good connection. I've been playing this game for a long time. I'm going to slam. And I did, right? I was just like a beast on that like last game, and I was so proud of myself. And I was like, yeah, you couldn't ask for a better way to end this game after the misery it put me through. In hindsight, I probably would have enjoyed myself more if I had just deleted the DLC content. It was a big mistake buying that season's content because of how they split up the player base and stuff like that, the way they handled it back in those days. Don't get me wrong, the DLC maps were actually pretty damn cool. Like a lot of the Advanced Warfare DLC maps were actually pretty fun to play on. It was just always red bar connection and stuff like that. So I just really, it was no way to like legitimately enjoy it the way I should have been able to. So often when people like talk about like, oh, we should go back to the seasons pack or the DLC packs, those maps were way better. I always just remember, I'm like, man, you are such an idiot child. You don't know how badly the player base got split up when they had those DLC packs, because that's how they handled it. And that's how they will handle it if they sell DLC packs. The fact that maps and stuff are free and everyone gets access to it keeps the community together and keeps the game significantly more active than anything else would have. Yeah, I mean, I kind of hope like if they do like bring these games to Game Pass and stuff on Xbox, I do hope they sort of like create some sort of like, it'd be pretty cool if they could do like a cross progression and cross play system with these old games. More so with the like, because I'd love my stuff for my PlayStation. All the work I put into like the PlayStation versions of the games that I played, I'd like that stuff to carry over to the Xbox versions when I jump onto them, if I did, right? If they brought it in as Game Pass and all, it'd be tempting to jump into them if it had a revitalization in the player base. But seeing myself have to regrind levels and the guns and all, I probably wouldn't do it. I'd probably be like, nah, I'm not doing that again. But if they had like cross-play and cross-progression, so like I can jump onto the Xbox and it has all my loot from here, I'd totally do it, man. I'd do it. I'd do it in a heartbeat. It'd be such a cool little thing to like jump into the Xbox. And like, I left the US in, more than left the US, I stopped playing the CoD game on the Xbox in CoD 4 days. But what happened was in CoD 4, I was on like a very high prestige level on CoD 4 on the Xbox. And then I switched over to the PlayStation for it, and I got to a very high level of prestige on the PlayStation also. So, and then obviously I played Modern Warfare 2 and 3 on the PlayStation. So I was a pretty high level prestige on those things. But even if they brought that stuff back to the Xbox, because there's no cross progression and stuff like that, that doesn't matter, dude. You'd be stuck on level 1 again. I don't know if I'd want to reminisce on those games on level 1, dude. Fuck. Regrinding my fucking rank on that. It's painful. There's another thing, man. Like, people are so nostalgic for the old prestige system. I hated it, man. I hated it. I know a lot of the like more recent prestige systems allowed you to like unlock certain weapons so you didn't have to regrind them. I think in this game maybe it had that, like where you could unlock a weapon and then you didn't have to regrind unlocking them. Like you got those tokens. I think that was how this prestige system worked. I can't remember. But in the old days, prestige, you lost everything and you had to regrind everything. Like I said, even when we were going through the challenges, right? You lost all your progression on your challenges too. It was a brutal system, man. I don't have fond memories of fucking prestiging, man. I actually genuinely preferred the current prestige system because honestly, the levels, numbers, and you get like new challenges and stuff, but you're not resetting everything again and again and again. Honestly, that reset of this stuff was so like, it wasn't great, man. It wasn't a good system. I don't know why people are so nostalgic. Like, oh yeah, we could reset everything. Especially nowadays with the current system where there's so many things to unlock for your weapons and all. Can you imagine going to the super old like prestige system where you lose everything and you have to re-unlock all your attachments and just think about the gunsmith in this current system where so many attachments are tied to each other on different weapons, right? So even if you used your like unlock token for like, okay, I get this weapon unlocked, right? And I don't have to like re-unlock it by leveling up, right? You would still need to level that gun up to unlock the attachments. And all the other attachments from all the other weapons that are like not on your like prestige unlock will have gone. So there's very likely you won't have the red dot that you want for your weapon because there's a whole different weapon that you need to level up to like unlock that, right? Oh, what's up, Slayer? How you doing? So yeah, I was never a fan of the old prestige system. I did it. Like I said, I used to do it, but I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I do prefer the current system personally. And like I said, it wasn't that I didn't do it. I did them for all the games I played, I prestiged. I used to reset. I did the reset. It's just not something I was fond of. I didn't do the prestige. I think during Infinite Warfare, I played the remaster, CoD 4 remaster. I didn't prestige then. But I did in CoD 4, the original CoD 4, like I said, I double prestige set. Like once on the Xbox, several times on the Xbox, and then several times on the PlayStation I prestiged when I switched over. So I was not looking forward to prestiging again on the remaster. I was like, no way am I doing it again, man. But yeah, that's all I wanted to do today. I know no gameplay. I try to make it clear that this was just me reminiscing and chatting. In the beginning of the stream, in the title, there was... I think I'll rename the title like Reminiscing Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. But yeah, there's no gameplay plans for this one. I just wanted to do it, like I said, more for myself as a kind of documentation of all that I did in this game. Like I remember actually at the end of the game, at the end of this game, I screenshotted a bunch of stuff. I screenshotted my character profile. Like I'm pretty sure I did a screenshot of this. I screenshotted my leaderboards. And I don't want to do my friends leaderboard because a lot of the friends that I had in this game I've deleted from my friends list now. So it's not the same. But like I told you, right, I used to make friends. I used to just kind of add friends on the people so I could session join them, right? But because like we were all like very active in the player base, like my friends and the leaderboard that I had with my friends leaderboard was nutty. Like I said, the guy that I pointed out in the leaderboard, I was like, dude, I used to play this guy and he hated me. He refused to be my friend. He refused to be my friend, but we matched up against each other so often. It was very like, I'm almost positive that was the dude. I don't know if he still plays, man. I don't think he still plays the CoD anymore. He must have moved on like most people in CoD. They all leave the game, unfortunately. I'm the only idiot who's as old as he is still playing this nonsense. But yeah, just reminiscing. It was fun. I don't know if he was first or maybe he was like the second on the leaderboard or something like that. But he was very high up, basically. And I used to match up against him all the time. It was like a toss-up. Like I said, most of the time the connections was red bar, right? So it'd just be like a bad experience regardless. And he hated me because I think a lot of those people thought that I was coming into the Australian servers But what would happen is if I session joined a friend on my friends list, the matchmaking system was different back then. They would not put you on a server. What they would do is it become a P2P game, a peer hosted game, more times than not, I suspect. I think that's how it worked, right? They called it the listen system, right? And it was like a hybrid system between servers and peer to peer. So whenever I session joined a friend, it would remove anyone in that lobby from the server and it would make it into a peer hosted lobby. And is what I suspect was happening, right? So a lot of these people like used to actually hate me because they thought I was coming into their server and it was a bad connection. But they didn't realize, no, actually someone on their side is hosting and I have a bad connection to their hosts and they have these massive advantages over me and I was still shitting on them whenever I did, right? Like, you know, trying to explain to kids like how the fucking like networking works is not ever gonna like pan out well. So I just like whatever, right? I actually got death threats on this game, man. Like there was one group of people that I used to match up against often, and they also hated me, right? Because again, like I was like red bar, dude. So they must have gotten irritated, right? But that was the only way I could find games. Yeah, one of the guys got so mad at me. He's like, "I'm gonna hack you. I'm gonna fucking come and kill you. This, that." And I'm like, dude, fucking just chill the fuck out, dude. You weirdo. What's wrong with you, man? It's fucking a game, dude. What's wrong with you? But yeah, the odd thing, I actually did report that dude because he went way over the top. I was like, fuck, man, this guy's a psycho, dude. So, but I don't think I ever saw him after that. I saw his buddies, like the people he used to play with. I matched up against them still afterwards. In fact, there was one time they got really mad at me and they're like, your connection sucks, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, what do you fucking want me to do about it? And one time I matched up against them and instead of a red bar, I think it was like an orange bar or some shit like that, right? And they were like, oh, let's see what you can do, blah, blah, blah. Fucking shat on them, dude. But the sad thing was like I was slamming them so hard, even though the connection was still kind of ass. But then like halfway through the game, I think the connections dipped and it became pretty bad. So I couldn't be as aggressive as I wanted to be. So I had to like pull back and just be a little more conservative and be a little more like campy with my movements. But yeah, we slammed them the beginning half. And then we still won the game. It was just the second half I had to play a little slower because connection wasn't as stable as it seemed. I mean, it was still orange. It wasn't like it was fucking green bar or yellow or anything. But even that much, they thought like I was gonna have like they're like, oh, we're gonna slam you now. Like no. If the connection's even slightly good, I'm gonna destroy you, little nerds. But yeah, it was fun, man. Still, again, in hindsight, I probably should have just deleted the DLC pack. I probably would have matched up with people closer to me who didn't, who had the game but didn't have the DLC. Like I said, that splitting up the community was just awful back in the day. It genuinely ruined it. And after that, I never bought like a seasons pack again. That was the one last time I made the mistake. Like I was like, I'll never buy that crap again, dude. It was absolutely ruined the game for the entire year. In fact, I stopped playing the game after Advanced Warfare. Like I skipped like Black Ops, whatever that came out. I refused to play that, and I don't think I played CoD, like because I stopped playing Advanced Warfare also. So I think for that following year, I didn't play CoD itself. Like I did some other stuff, like I played like single player and stuff like that, and then eventually came back to CoD. Like I said, like mid Infinite Warfare, mainly because I was playing like the CoD 4 remaster. That's what brought me back. And then I started playing again more regularly, and Modern Warfare, like the World War II game came out, and that's when I started grinding out camos and stuff like that. And I always played, when I played CoD, I always played a ton of it. But yeah. Then what's it called? I guess we got to this stage now. Modern Warfare, like World War II was when I started the camo grind, like I said, and then Black Ops 4, I continued it. And then after Black Ops 4, 2019 came out, I upgraded my internet connection. And after upgrading my internet connection, I was able to stream. So I started streaming. That's how things went down, the way it went down. Anyway, that's it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed. Check out my old streams if you haven't already. Apologies, no gameplay and stuff like that. But like I said, wanted to do this one for myself more than anything else. Take care. Bye. Yeah, honestly, after going through all this stuff in Advanced Warfare, I'm happy I did this stream, man. So happy to see the leaderboards again and my armory and all, dude. It's so nostalgic. I wish I could play the game, but just happy to see all my stuff that I had also accomplished in it.